You're crouched in the dark, hand in a stone bowl. It's damp. It smells sour, almost sweet, like bread gone strange. Somewhere behind you, someone is grieving. This is 13,000 years ago. And you're not baking. You're brewing. And here's the part that should bother you. Why would a species with no bars, no happy hour, no six-pack in the fridge go through the trouble of getting drunk on purpose? That question matters more than it sounds. If the answer is yes, addiction isn't a modern glitch. It's ancient wiring. Older than farming. Maybe older than us. Let's start with the bowl. In 2018, researchers led by archaeologist Li Lu at Stanford analyzed stone mortars from Rakfet Cave near modern-day Haifa. They found phytoliths and starch residue. The chemical fingerprints of grain turned into alcohol. The signs pointed to people of the Natufian culture brewing beer roughly 13,000 years ago. That's before farming, before writing, before the wheel. It may be the oldest record of human-made alcohol on Earth. Here's the thing that makes it weirder. The site wasn't a village. It was a burial ground. These people weren't unwinding after a hunt. They were drinking at funerals. On purpose. For someone who'd already died. Now here's the complication. You'd assume alcohol came after farming, you grow grain, some spoils, boom, beer. Turns out that's backwards. The Natufians were brewing before they planted a single crop. Some researchers now think the craving for alcohol may have helped push humans toward agriculture. Not the other way around. Beer before bread, not bread before beer. So if humans invented drunkenness before they invented farming, where did the craving even come from? Hang on to that. It gets stranger. Let's talk about the real source. Because it's not human at all. It's fruit. Rotting fruit, specifically in tropical forests, ripe fruit that falls to the ground gets colonized by wild yeast. That yeast eats sugar and produces ethanol as waste. So overripe fruit is, quietly, always a little bit alcoholic. It's basically nature's dive bar. In 2022, researchers led by primatologist Christina Campbell studied wild spider monkeys in Panama. They found the fruit these monkeys sniffed out and ate contained alcohol concentrations between 1 and 2% by volume. About the strength of a light beer, growing on a tree. The monkey's urine contained alcohol byproducts. They weren't avoiding it. They were absorbing it, regularly, in the wild, with zero peer pressure involved. This is the drunken monkey hypothesis, first proposed by UC Berkeley biologist Robert Dudley in a 2000 paper on primate frugivory. His argument: for millions of years, the smell of alcohol was a dinner bell, not a warning label. Fruit eating goes back roughly 56 million years in primates, and for nearly all of that time, a whiff of ethanol meant one thing: sugar, calories, food, close by. Animals that could smell it and chase it down out survived the ones that couldn't. Evolution wasn't rewarding drunkenness. It was rewarding a really, really good nose. And it's not just monkeys. In 2025, a University of Exeter team led by Anna Boland set motion-activated cameras in Guinea-Bissau's Cantanhès National Park. They caught wild chimpanzees sharing fermented African breadfruit 10 separate times, lab confirmed to contain ethanol. Not one chimp sneaking a bite alone. Chimps sharing it with each other, passing the fruit around like it's happy hour. Here's the honest part, though. The part a lot of pop science videos skip. Nobody actually knows if the chimps sought that fruit out on purpose, or just didn't avoid it once it fermented. The researchers themselves call the question open. Absence of certainty isn't the same as absence of evidence, and in a field this young. That gap is exactly where the interesting work happens next, which means the reward system lighting up in your brain right now, every time you crave something sweet or something buzzy, is running code that's tens of millions of years old. It was built for finding fruit in a forest canopy. Nobody ever patched it for a liquor store, a vending machine, or a phone that buzzes every few minutes. And that's where this gets genuinely uncomfortable, because the wiring doesn't stop at alcohol. Betel nut, a mild stimulant chewed across South and Southeast Asia for thousands of years, is still used by an estimated 600 million people today, making it one of the most widely consumed psychoactive substances on the planet, right behind alcohol, nicotine, and caffeine. Different plant, different chemical, same basic move. Something ancient in your brain, rewarding you for finding it. So here's the payoff. The craving isn't a design flaw. It's a design feature aimed at the wrong century. For millions of years, chase the smell of alcohol was excellent survival advice. Today, the thing that smells like alcohol is sitting in a fridge. Unlimited. No forest required. No 10-mile walk to earn it. The instinct never got the memo. Only the environment around it changed. Which brings us back to that cave. Sour air. A stone bowl. Grief in the room. What those mourners were doing 13,000 years ago isn't as far from tonight as you'd think. A bar after work. A fridge at 11 p.m. A thumb reaching for a phone between emails, chasing that same old chemical bell. Same ancient circuit. Completely different container. So drop a comment. What's your modern fermented fruit? Coffee? Sugar? Your phone? Something else. Genuinely curious what people say. You're still holding that bowl.